While I do believe Katt Williams on a lot of the things that he's saying, it's some things in there that is like just Katt getting into his bag and just getting his shit off. Like Cedric's, he said something about Cedric's stand-up shows are not available on Netflix or Tubi. They're on Netflix. You can definitely find Cedric's. I don't know about all of them, but there is one on Netflix that you can find. But I do understand Katt what he's saying. He's saying that there is, if you're not a part of the crew that everybody loves each other and gets along, and you don't buy into certain things, then you're on the outside looking in. I do believe that part is true because we've seen perfect examples of it throughout the years. You know, some people that are not just allowed in the club. And I do believe Katt Williams is one of those people. Katt is definitely talented. One of his specials came out a few years ago while we were doing an episode, and we talked about it, and we had said like, yo, Katt, low key, his stand-ups are dope. Like he has 3 that are like, yo, he killed those, but people don't, for whatever reason, talk about Katt Williams as much in those conversations when you talk about the top comedians, the top comedic actors. He obviously has a classic role in Friday After Next with Money Mike, but outside of that, people don't really look at Katt Williams as a great comedic actor or an actor. But he is a great comedian. Has some great stand-ups. But a lot of the stuff that they talked about was interesting. Him saying that Cedric the Entertainer stole one of his jokes.
Did Shannon Sharp talk once? I love Shannon Sharp, and I love the club.
But you know what?
He is a great interviewer. But there's just some people like a Katt Williams.
You just let him go.
For 3 hours, you could literally just give facial reactions. Like
you throw out a question, and he's going to answer that, but then he's going to parlay that into something else that you weren't even going to ask. So I think Shannon Sharp did a great job at like, okay, he got something to get off his chest. Yeah. And it was in response because Steve Harvey had been on Club Shay Shay, I believe, right? He sat down with Shannon Sharp. Cedric the Entertainer has sat down with shit. So Katt was saying, I'm only speaking about these guys because they came on this platform and spoke my name. It's not like I'm coming up here being malicious and just, wanting to spew venom and things like that. They spoke my name on this platform, so now I'm here, and now I'm going to tell you the things that they said that were lies, and I'm going to tell you the truth. So I respect that part of it. Now, I do believe that Katt, he said he wasn't drunk. He only had one sip. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say he was drunk, but I do believe that he had some things internally that he was waiting to get off his chest, and it just turned into a super, super viral episode.
I mean, this is, if you've been following Katt, even if you haven't been following Katt Williams, like, remember early TMZ video days?
Yeah.
This is who Katt has always been, just in long form. When TMZ used to run down on him for like 2-minute videos, he would say some of the wildest shit ever, like, in regards to other comedians, Illuminati shit, the club that you're referring to, things that were going on in his career. He just got 3 hours of a platform to talk in front of a fireplace. This isn't like Katt just doing some clout chasey shit. This is who he's been, and who he said he was always going to be.
Yeah.
So I can see people picking apart certain lies. I thought this was just a great masterclass of entertainment where there is truth. There's probably some lies in there too. There's humor, there's anger, there's bitterness. There's things that other people can't say because, one, they're not as big, or they are as big but are in this club and can't get this type of shit off. So when he first started, we can start with the Cedric one. I thought Katt was just being Katt. When people do wrong by him, he's usually funnier in his response.
Absolutely.
And he brought up what, I had to look at the facts as well. It does appear like Cedric took this joke. So that's out the gate. But from there, he went fucking crazy. Can we pull up the list? The Cedric shit, I mean, did y'all care too much about the Cedric part?
No. I mean, joke stealing in the comedic world is something that is an absolute no-no. We know that. We know enough comedians. That's something that you just don't do. And then if you do it and then apologize and then say, you go back on another platform and basically, because I think he went back and said that he didn't steal it or whatever. It's like, all right, bro, like we spoke about this, you did, like, and now you're saying that you didn't do it. Yeah. So I think in that world, you can understand how that is something that's frowned upon comedians because it's a very competitive world. It's kind of like if a rapper doesn't write his own rhymes. Yeah. It's the same thing in the comedic world. It's like that's not your bar. That's not your line. Like, you didn't write that. So
Well, let me reword what I was saying. At first, because this was the first clip I saw, and I was like, damn, that's fucking crazy that Cedric got caught stealing a joke. I didn't know that there was 3 hours left of insanity that makes the Cedric shit look like, who cares at this point?
right.
Well, he also mentioned he won an award in his career, Katt Williams. It was called like the Cedric the Entertainer thus and such award that Katt ended up winning. And they kind of talked about like the hypocrisy of that. Like the joke was kind of like a reasoning to go down. I mean, he was taking shots at all of them, but like he was saying the hypocrisy of someone that's like stolen a joke, been on record admitting stealing your joke, apologizing to you, but it's still the person that's in the position of like power to present an award to someone that they've been.
And it was interesting because it seemed like a lot of that smoke that he had for Cedric and Steve Harvey. He didn't. He said he loves
Bernie Mac.
Lori Harvey.
D.L. Hughes. D.L. Hughley.
Yeah.
He said he loves D.L. Hughley. He had no smoke for him. But it seemed like a lot of the smoke he had for Ced and Steve came for, well, definitely Steve came for Steve's lack of respect and support for Bernie Mac. Because he was saying when they did, he thought that Bernie didn't deserve some of the roles he got. That he tried to even take Bernie's role in Ocean's 11. He called and tried to get that part. He didn't think that Bernie should close the Kings of Comedy tour because I guess Steve, it was supposed to be his tour, and he felt like he was the king of comedy.
Steve wanted to play more records from the 70s and dance
Pretty
instead of have
much.
Bernie Mac do great stand-up.
Exactly. And then he spoke about Steve Harvey, which was really interesting, and I never really looked at it like that until, and I don't know how because it was right in front of our faces all these years, how Steve Harvey basically stole Mark Curry's whole sitcom thing with the whole, high school teacher that wears suits and, has a high top fade and things like that. It's like, that's what the Steve Harvey show was. That's what Hanging with Mr. Cooper was. It was the same type of basic show, which was interesting to hear that. And I believe, but I would like to see Mark Curry now on Club Shay Shay address a lot of that.
And this can kind of segue into the next part as far as the dresses and Kevin Hart. We will get to that. But do you think that was more of survival in the climate at the time? Like, for example, trying to get Bernie Mac's role in Ocean's 11. There was only so many roles available, I mean, even to this day, but even less back then, for black actors. So you almost have to get in survival mode when there is only one role that could end up in a franchise movie that's around. Like, Bradley Cooper can steal vibrators, and there's a million roles for Brad and his peers. There's only one, that Bernie Mac Ocean's 11 role. Can you compare it to another franchise with the amount of actors that were in that as A-listers, and now you're in the same sentence as them, you're on the same level as them? That's a huge role for somebody.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying it's not grimy.
Yeah, but
think
if you're
about
my friend,
the times.
if you're my friend, like, you don't call and try to.
Are they friends?
Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey. I would assume that they were friends. I think that's a safe assumption.
Why would you assume that though? Because I'm sure that people would assume that you're friends with people and your peers work-wise that you're not friends with at all. So, like, why would you assume?
Yeah, but it's
that they were
different. It's different because Steve Harvey and Bernie Mac, I mean, we have enough footage of them on camera together, on stage together, where it seems like they had that type of relationship where it's like, yo, I love you, you're my boy, my brother. Like, I mean, now, away from it, I don't know. I can only go off of what we saw. That's why I said it's a safe assumption based on what I've seen with Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey. I think they had a pretty close, cool relationship. I don't think they had beef with each other. I don't think they had any hate or disdain for each other. So if you call and try to get a role that somebody that you're cool and close with, and that one of your fellow kings of comedy, I set a record tour with comedy, I put comedy on that level together, and then you would try to take a role from him in Hollywood. I mean, I see why Katt Williams spoke on that. Like, yeah, that was grimy of you. And why was it grimy? Because that was supposed to be a friend of yours.
Hindsight's 2020, but if we look at where Steve went with his career and where he wanted to go, being a middle America darling, it seemed to be that's his goal. He's got there.
Well, Katt Williams is saying that wasn't his goal. Katt Williams is saying, no, you wanted to be the movie star. You just don't have that talent.
And that's what I'm saying, where that role is now you're next to Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, George Clooney. And yeah, that's that gets you into that world. And clearly Steve loves that world because he has yet to leave it.
He wants to be the Snoop Dogg of comedy.
I think that's a pretty good comparison, even though I don't think Snoop just ended up being the darling.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think he aimed for that, but I'm saying like, but he wants to be that.
I'm gonna just be real. I don't like Steve Harvey.
Yeah, okay. We were leaning toward that.
He's hit or miss.
I just
with
don't.
me. I don't particularly care too much.
I seen a clip when he sat down with Monique and she was talking about the whole, when she was trying to stand up for equal pay, equal rights when it came to black women in Hollywood and black comedians and things like that. And Steve Harvey said something about, you just got to do what you got to do. I just didn't like his stance on that. Like, you got to basically play the game and just shut up.
Steve,
that's not true though.
What we've seen, that's kind of been his strategy.
Yeah, but that's,
I don't want to put on his jacket because I don't know him, but it's
I can't fuck with that. I can't fuck with that. I don't even like that. Because you don't have to do that. Because Dave Chappelle is a perfect example of you not having to do that. You don't have to do that.
All that to say is, I fully understand why Steve Harvey did what Katt is accusing him of. That's who he is. Like, go and do that shit.
But that's what I'm saying. So he's fucked up, and I can't support people that do fucked up shit like that for the sake of, I got to make money to support my family. It's like, nah. But what about integrity and shit like that? Like, because you can have integrity and still get to the bag. Example: Dave Chappelle. He walked away from more money than any of these niggas would walk away from.
I think
he didn't get love don't cost a thing.
It's less about the money. I think Steve suffers from what we see Diddy. So like, they want to be admired and loved by everyone. Like, I think the money will come with that.
Dave Chappelle is admired and loved by everyone.
He's not. He gets killed. Every time he puts something out, he gets killed.
Well, fans love Chappelle. He's making a joke about a certain community, and even people in those communities still love and support
fans
Dave
of Chappelle love Chappelle. The general media, like, they hate Chappelle. Every time he does anything, it's like, but new sad comic comes out with a new hour.
My point is, though, what does it matter? It doesn't stop him from selling out tours.
No, it doesn't.
Selling out
but
stadiums.
There's people that want that, but also want to be loved by everyone.
And also,
Chappelle plays a contrarian well. He doesn't care if people like him or not.
Dave Chappelle is also insanely talented. Sorry to cut you off, Rory. He's also insanely talented. Everybody can't go the Chappelle route because everybody doesn't have Chappelle talent.
If Steve Harvey did what Chappelle did,
Harvey's not funny.
You don't get this same comeback that Chappelle had. Because there was a time when that Chappelle Show Comedy Central shit happened, that they were making shit up that he was smoking crack in Africa, and like they were, because he wasn't playing the game, were trying to bury him.
Yeah.
He didn't come back because he played the game. He came back because he's extremely fucking talented. And no disrespect to Steve Harvey, if he made a decision that Chappelle made, I don't see a comeback even remotely close, because their talent level is different.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He came back. Dave Chappelle was able to do what he was able to do because, number one, he just wasn't budging on certain shit. Number two, people love him. So it was like, good, cool, do what you got to do. Disappear. When you come back, we'll be right here with open arms waiting for you, because we already know what you have. We know what you can give us. We know the talent level that you have. So that's my point. It's like, don't say that, I got to do this because I got to take care of my family and I can't help my family if I don't have no money. But what about integrity? Like, a lot of people we're watching right in front of our eyes trade their integrity for money. And it's like, you don't have to do that, because we have perfect examples of people that stood on what they stood on, didn't have to do that, and can still support and put people on and give people jobs and sell out arenas and sell out stadiums and do all of these great things without jeopardizing their integrity. So stop saying that you have to jeopardize your integrity, because you do not. Say, I had to jeopardize my integrity because I don't have any talent.
No, Rory and Ma.